Did you think that your picture with Mike Portnoy would blow up to the level of it that it did, with such positivity and such love from your fans? I am joined by the singer of Dream Theater, Mr. James LaBrie. Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Ollie?
I am delicious. How are you, sir?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. Right. You might not want to say that around me right now. I'm very hungry.
Oh, that's why I was worried you were going to say something else.
You're delicious. I was not expecting that. That's good. I like
good.
that comeback. Okay.
I like to use fun words. It makes for an interesting time.
Absolutely.
James, firstly, may I say congratulations on Beautiful Shade of Grey, A View from the Top of the World, and your Grammy. You have won a Grammy. You've done it.
That's freaking what? What we did? No, you know what? It's amazing. We've been nominees twice before, so third time's the charm, right? And listen, with all due respect, we were up against formidable, these other bands being, wow, I can't even think of them right now. Holy shit. Wow, this is too early. Hang on. Listen, I'm having my first coffee.
No, that's good. That's
as
good.
You can see.
That's whiskey.
No, but
definitely.
I mean, no. Deftones, Mastodon.
Yeah.
What's his name there? Freaking Crazy Wild.
You were up against
Rob Zombie. Holy shit. I'm really slow today. Wow. Okay, so right there, those three bands, right? They've been around for a while.
Yeah, but so have you.
Deftones, I love those guys. Mastodon, I love those guys. Amazing freaking talent. Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Great. The guy's been around since the 90s. I remember being out on the Images and Words tour and hearing Rob Zombie all over the freaking radio. Like, he was just huge. And I actually went down to see some of my tech buddies that were out with Rob Zombie. A few years ago. I don't know. He was out with who cares who he's out with, but he put on a freaking amazing show. Yeah, who cares who he was out. Meanwhile, they're going, wait, man, it's freaking free advertising. Don't you remember? Marilyn Manson he was out with.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Has your Grammy arrived yet?
Yes, it has.
Are you using it?
I already sold it on eBay.
Are you using it as a doorstop? Is it on the fireplace? What?
Oh, yeah. Do you know that you have to sign a waiver? Did you know that?
Do you really?
Yes, you do.
Well, I know. We don't know that. I've never won a Grammy. I've never won an award.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you won a few. Yeah. And the Golden Globe Awards. Okay, so no, actually they send you a contract. It's a document, and you have to sign it. And within that document, the literature reads that if you are able ever, because what they do is there's a serial number with each Grammy, obviously. Wow. And if it's found that you sold that particular Grammy, you will be fined severely.
How much?
Yeah. They're not
saying you guys could afford it, whatever, though. You're a Grammy award-winning band now. Don't worry about it.
For a couple Big Macs. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would imagine it would be severe, not to mention embarrassing. And why the hell would you want to?
Wow.
I guess with somebody like Bruce Springsteen, it has what does he have, like freaking 20?
Oh yeah,
20 Grammys.
It's got to be.
But I mean, still at the same time, it's something to be proud of, and
it's incredible.
It's a recognition within the the Grammy.
Do you know
has obviously acknowledged Dream Theater, which is amazing, being who and what we are musically, even though we are eclectic and we touch on more of the simpler forms of music as well. Just to be recognized for who and what we are, that's a big nod. That's a huge nod.
For me, like, as a fan, I really was so happy when you got that. I felt it was so deserved, and I was though we're not best buds or anything like that. I felt so proud of you guys. I had there was a real kind of moment of euphoria for me when you got that. So massive congratulations. Now,
thank you, and I think a lot of the fans felt the same way. That they were as excited as we were, just because of that they know that we've
You've waited.
what we've done throughout all our career, and they thought, well, it's about time that we get recognized, for sure.
One of the questions, James, I always kind of want to start my interviews with is a question that always generates quite an interesting answer. I've asked a couple of your fellow.
I'm not answering this. Okay. All right. There's your interesting answer.
No, wait.
It's non-existent.
James, stop it now. Come on, behave.
Okay, I'm trying. Trust me. I get nicer as more of these go down my throat.
You don't fucking need any more of them. What is, in your career, what has been the biggest Spinal Tap moment?
Oh, shit. That's easy.
Oh, really? Go on, go.
Oh, my God, man. Okay, so 1998, Rock and Rio, Dream Theater's first time down in South America, by the way. And went on stage in front of, I don't know what it was, 75,000 people. And I go running up to the top of to the front of the stage, and in slow motion, I see my right shoe going over my head. Because I guess for whatever reason, I remember tying it, but obviously I didn't tie it very well. And I usually double knot the lace, right? So obviously whatever happened. And my shoe was flying over, and there I was like walking around. So I kicked off my other shoe. So I would just be on stage, not looking like I'm limping or I got uneven leg lengths. Yeah. But so anyways, that's probably. And then I can tell you the second most. So we were out with Queensryche, and we were at the Warner, whatever it was called, the Warner freaking shed in Cleveland. And I went out.
Did you say it?
I did the big rock, like like where you jump down, your legs are out, boom, like that. And my leg, and I don't wear underwear. Okay. So my freaking pants ripped right from the back, right up to the front. Yeah.
No.
So what I did is I turned around to the crowd and I freaking showed them my ass, and then I ran off stage. I had to wait until the guys got into an instrumental section. Then I ran off stage. And freaking our drum tech, Eric Disrude, who's been with us forever, great guy, I love him. He comes running out to me like side stage with gaff tape, like he was going to gaff tape my freaking pants up.
God,
I said, fuck that! Give me my other pair. Give me another pair of pants out of my wardrobe. So he was great. He helped me out. Thank you, Eric, once again. And he got me another pair of pants. I had to rip them off, put the other pants on, and then get back out on stage. Yeah. So
that's
there you go. You got twice. You got a big bang for your buck there.
I did. I love that.
Yeah.
You are collectively and individually as a band. You guys are never not busy. All of you have got solo projects, or most of you, should I say, have got solo projects, and you've also got your band, which at the moment, Dream Theater are in the middle of a world tour. Do you think, James, that having the creative outlook of a solo project is imperative to a band's long-term survival within the industry? Do you think Dream Theater would have been going for as long as they would if you guys couldn't do other things?
Well, no, we wouldn't have been. Then again, I mean, listen, I mean, Geddy Lee released his first solo album, My Favorite Headache, which I still absolutely love and adore. I think that's a phenomenal album. And then Alex Lifeson did the same, and but it wasn't until those guys were like 30 something years into their career that they did something like that.
Sure.
But I think with a band like Dream Theater, that's just kind of who we are individually, is that we we always want to be stirring the pot and seeing what else is out there. And I think because we work with other musicians, and because we wanted to dabble into showing other sides of us, musically, it only added to Dream Theater's depth and profoundness, musically speaking, because you grow there. You evolve from every experience. I've always thought that stands true for each and every one of us. It's through your experiences that you grow, and from growing you become wiser. Your knowledge base is much more expansive. So I think it all benefits Dream Theater at the end of the day, not to mention individually. And yeah, I mean, it's just who we are. Like, I mean, I'm already starting to write I already have a whole bunch of new ideas for the next follow-up to Beautiful Shade of Grey.
Wow.
And same with Paul Logue, love the man dearly, who I wrote Beautiful Shade of Grey with.
Yes.
We were just talking yesterday, and Chance, the drummer, and we were just talking the other day, and we were all like saying, let's get on, let's move on, because this is just who we are. Like, you just have to, the way that you can't sit around, you become stagnant. So you should keep doing things that stimulate you and then make you that much richer because of that.
Yes, that's very
monetarily speaking.
Yeah. Actually, talking of richer, the music industry has changed so much since you have been involved in it, and I think actually a band like you guys have seen a span of time whereby you were probably, when you were younger, involved in the tape trading scene, and now we're seeing things like Spotify where artists are getting paid next to nothing. Do you think that the internet and everything that is involved with the internet, including social media, do you think that is a positive tool for bands, or do you think that life pre-internet was better?
Yeah, well, it's a necessary evil, correct? Yeah. Because nowadays that is your way of promotion, and that is your way of staying relevant and current. Is that the only way that people are going to access who and what you are currently is by going on to these streaming platforms.
Yes.
So whatever it is that you listen through, and that's it. Like we are, to a certain degree, we are held hostage, because if you don't want to follow and you want to stay in the game and you don't want to go by those means, then see you later. Sayonara, because tough. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think it's unfortunate. I think that's I think to some degree it's fortunate for young and upcoming bands, because they can, like right here, I'm sitting in my basement in my, what the hell just happened here? Come on there, you son of a bitch. Wow, I have no idea what just happened. I just got darker on you. This thing just popped. You little Boston.
You went Scottish.
Well, sorry about that. Anyways,
that's all right.
But here, I'm right here in my studio in my basement, and back behind the curtain is where I did all my vocals for Beautiful Shade of Grey and many other things. And so the younger demographic, they can set up basically anywhere in their bedroom if they want, and start to record an album, and then get it out there and promote it themselves and get it onto Spotify and whatever else, iTunes and that. But it's to go from there. Where do you go? And then it's all based on streams, and followers. How many monthly followers do you have? And that from the labels today perspective that's what they look at, because that in a sense is what we used to look at, is how many albums have you sold?
Yes.
And what did you do on your last album? Now it's how many streams and how many followers, and it's a different language, but it all points to the same thing. How popular are you? Or do we have a situation here that if we cultivate it, it's going to be something that is tangible, and the commodity becomes, obvious. So, and even my son, Chance, he's in a band called Falset.
I know.
And so I see him right now, and those guys are doing amazing. They just hit 2 million streams, on incredible. Spotify. So they're doing great. But at the same time, I see that they have to work that much harder. And when they go out touring, I said to him, I said, you know what you're going to be doing? You're going to be living in a van down by the river, because basically you're going to be touring with 5 other bands in these little clubs, and that's how you're going to build it from there. And then you hopefully get to a point where you're like, like I said, the best example for you guys would be to get up to like Bring Me the Horizons level, whereas those guys, like, they had to eat dirt for a while and then really get themselves. Look at them today, they're huge. But anyways, that's just the way it is now, Ollie. That's the nature of the beast.
And it's an interesting one, you know, especially you're talking about social media and followers being so important. With social media being said, I really want to ask you a question, and I want to ask it in the most sensitive but respectful way possible. Did you think that your picture with Mike Portnoy would blow up to the level of it that it did, with such positivity and such love from your fans?
To be completely honest with you, I didn't even think about it, because at the moment it was just about two guys with huge history,
Yeah.
musically speaking. We're able to come to terms to realize that, hey, you know, we got to let go of all this negativity, and how long are we going to carry this freaking monkey on our backs? That we just have to, we need to move on. So at the time with that, you know, Mike said, hey, let's do a pick, you know, and I said, yeah, man, for sure, let's do one.
Yeah.
And then it went kaboom.
It did.
To me, like when that happened, I was kind of like, yeah, I can see that, because
sure,
you know, we do have millions of fans around the world.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was a nice kind of affirmation on who and what we were, and what we are to so many fans. And even Mike said, you know, he says, you know, it's cool to see that reaction, right? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, you know, I kind of figured something like that would come from something as indelible as that picture kind of left on so many people.
Oh, it was incredible. It was amazing. And it was, you know, it was nice to see. Your tour, I must talk to you about the current Dream Theater tour for A View from the Top of the World. I saw you at Wembley. I was absolutely shit-faced. I was trying to dance in 1916, wasn't happening. But
so now you know how we feel. Now you know how we feel on stage. Yeah. Okay, now groove to that. Yeah. No, that's cool that you were there. Awesome.
Of course. Genuinely, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Well, I mean, I might have missed it for the world, but you know, I'm a huge Dream Theater fan. So you know, it was a great show. I think, James, and I'm not blowing smoke here, I think A View from the Top of the World is vocally one of your strongest performances. I loved the live version of you know, of what you brought to the table. I think in the album itself there were some, I think the vocals stole the show, if I'm being completely honest. It was there were so many great hooks in there, and I loved the harmonies. You know, Answering the Call, my ears had an actual orgasm when I heard that song. I was like, you know,
wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow.
It's true.
And listen, I just had so many thoughts and feelings that just went through me at that moment. Wow. Holy shit, you're freaking me out, man. Okay, go ahead. No, you know what? I'm glad you brought up that song, because you know, so many people did gravitate towards that song. One of my other favorites on the album, I mean, Answering the Call is definitely one of my favorites. I just love the groove.
Me too.
And then the lyric and the melody that surrounds that song. And then Sleeping Giant is another one that I think is a classic. And then obviously the Opus on the album, but that's really cool, and so many people have talked about this album, the way that it hit them, and that you know, it was classic Dream Theater.
Yes,
I think for Even Distance Over Time resonated with so many fans, just because we kind of mixed things up, and you know, the songs in a Dream Theater sense were shorter and more concise and to the point, and that. Whereas this album, A View from the Top of the World, we were like, oh, you know what, the sky's the limit. Let's just go, and who cares about time? You know, it's just, we're just going to write the song, and if it's 15 minutes long, great. If it's 8 minutes, great. 3 minutes, whatever. So, you know, it was really cool to see the reaction of the fans, and I think it is due to the material, and I appreciate what you're saying about the vocals. That's cool. You know, hey, you know, it was the first time that I had, well, it was at Dream Theater headquarters, right? Our studio there down in New York. And it was the first time I got together with John, and just kind of like we were able to hang out, and just have fun doing that whole process. But yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
I know that you know, sometimes you're, I guess, you've even brought it up in your live performances, you know, kind of the trolls online. I just want you to know from a personal point of view, everyone has got your fucking back, man. Everyone loves you. No, it's true, man. And it's a difficult topic to bring up and be respectful of. But I just wanted you to know that, like, you know, one mean comment, you know, against someone's playing or whatever, and then just remember the millions and millions of people that come to your shows, that buy your albums, that wear the t-shirts, and that's just me. But I just wanted you to know that.
No, I appreciate that.
Everyone's got your back.
You know, you have to be in the trenches yourself to listen. I picked it, so I mean, if somebody wants to throw insults my way and they want to be disrespectful and shallow and insensitive and callous, and then that just says to me that's the, you know, that points to your character, and that points to your personality as a person. And meanwhile, maybe you should work more on yourself than critiquing others. And the thing is, you know, I always point to the fact that Neil Peart said it best. He always said, you know, what other situation in life are you expected to be 100% every time you go on stage? You know, and he says that's what it is. He says, but when we walk around, we are not an infallible creature. We are we are, you know, not perfect, and that's fine. You know, look at it, we're out there, we're doing 2-3 hour shows, and each and every one of us in the band knows that we have a lot to freaking live up to every night we go out on stage. But we're also human beings, and if we can't, you know, deliver the goods at 100%, then we'll deliver them best we can, and then we have to move on. And when you talk to enough musicians around the world, and especially singers who, you know, have come up to me over the years, whether they be the singers from the bands that are backing us up or just singers in general that I bump into around the world, you know, they're all saying the same thing, man. Hey, you know, I get freaking creamed here and I get freaking plastered here. And why is that? And I'm like, fucking just, you know what? Grow some alligator skin, because you just got to shake it off and you got to move on. And if that's, so you know, those people, look at, it's not somebody that I'd want as a friend, and I don't care. And if it makes them feel better, then so be it. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, see you later. Bye.
Yeah, I totally, definitely agree. And in that kind of same vein, James, what I think it's fair to say that COVID has impacted the music industry,
oh my God,
enormously. And it's I suppose for you guys, you were in a position where you've got a brand, you've got your product, it was put on the shelf for a couple of years, but you were lucky that, you know, you could sell out Wembley 2 years later. You know, you could go on a world tour. You know, all these amazing things are happening because you're already a distinguished band within the scene. Correct. But I think that COVID has impacted the emerging scene so much. And the music industry internationally is on its life support machine still. What would your advice?
Promoters are losing their freaking shirts, man. You know, still, because there's the COVID hangover that's still out there.
Yes. What I was going to ask, what I was going to ask was, what would your advice be to an unsigned band or a band on a white label or DIY label that really wanted to push themselves to progress to where you, not only with your solo stuff, but where you are with Dream Theater, how would they get to that point in the current climate of a very turbulent 21st century music industry?
Get a job at a grocery store. And then, you know, I'm kidding. Jesus
I was wondering where the fuck you were going with that.
He's like, what does freaking groceries have to do with freaking this question?
I thought it was going to be some big beautiful analogy, and I was like, oh, hang on, so, the melons of the industry, the lemons, the business side.
Well, his metaphors are really unique. But anyways, I would say, listen, hey, how many bands do we know of? It's numerous. It's unfathomable how many bands had to call it quits during the COVID because they just said that they couldn't financially survive. So, you know, they moved on to getting a more stable situation job wise. And I think it's really unfortunate because there were a lot of great bands that you heard or you read about that, you know, they're no longer together, or they had to just move on to another situation that was more, you know, affordable for them. But for look, I don't think that it's changed. Okay, COVID, yeah, it not only knocked the music industry internationally and globally on its ass, if I may be so bold as to say.
Say ass
did
if you
that.
want.
It did that to everything and everyone. Like, we heard of millions and millions of people losing their jobs, millions of people losing their homes, you know, and their way of life and their lifestyle. So I would still say to any emerging or any, new bands that are coming out and are just starting to, feel that they're hitting their stride, or they want to hit their stride. Look, it hasn't changed. I mean, when we were chasing our dreams, it took a lot of perseverance, a lot of determination, a lot of tenacity. And I think that still is true today.
Yes.
And as long as you really feel that you have something, and look, you don't need anybody to grease your ego. Okay, deep down inside whether you have something to offer, musically, individually, if there's something that you are on your instrument or as a singer, that you have something to offer that is unique and something that, given the right opportunity, will resonate with the masses. And so it's a matter of you getting to that point where you are recognized for your true and unique talent. And a band also has to look at themselves, and first and foremost, do you have the songs? Are the songs right? If you were to sit down and listen to those songs, you don't need anybody to tell you, hey man, that song kicks ass, or hey man, I'm not really feeling it. Yeah, it's okay. Listen, I think that everyone and anyone can be completely honest with themselves. Instinctually, we feel something immediately, and it's just, you need no affirmation. You need no confirmation from anything else or anyone else. It's just, it's there or it's not. But if you have all those elements and you have all the traits that it takes to possibly and fortunately be able to do something in this industry and make it a career, then hey man, then you do everything you can and you stick with it and just go for it and break down every wall that you got to break down to make it happen. And that's my suggestion.
That is amazing advice. And I think, James, as a band, you have evidenced so much and given so much inspiration to other artists that you don't have to follow the machine in order to get the love and support that you guys deserve, or you could get, as an artist. I wanted to ask you one thing while I've got you here. What song do you think represents Dream Theater's entire sound? What one song of yours?
Shit.
And I think it would be cool perhaps not to include the brand new album in that, because that album is going to be so fresh in your mind. I think it would be quite interesting to see where you would go.
Yeah. I would think that it's Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. That song. What?
It's such a dick. Fuck's sake, man.
Wait a minute. What? Jesus Christ. He just lost it. He lost it, man. He snapped. Okay. I don't know, man. I mean, hey, listen, you got a song like 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of touches on every freaking level of what Dream Theater. Octavarium, same thing. Yes. And hey, look at, okay, so when I look at songs like, you see, you can't do that to me, first of all. Ollie,
I can.
Okay, you can't have me coming down to one song.
I can,
listen,
and I have
Pale Blue Dot.
Oh, great tune.
At Wit's End. Come on, like these songs epitomize who and what we are all about. Like I just said earlier in the interview, Jesus Christ, it's not done yet. I said earlier in the interview, Sleeping Giant. Okay. There's another freaking classic Dream Theater, and the opus, A View from the Top of the World. So I think there's
you just got to go through everything
to put it down to one song. I think, with all due respect, Ollie, and there's little of it, I would think that to put it down to one song would do us a disservice.
Okay, no, I get that,
because there are so many moments throughout our career where that where it is eclectic. In one piece, we touch upon so many styles, and that's really what has described or identified us with our fans around the world. And so it's all of that. It's the continuation of being who and what we are that has, given us that identity from way the hell back, Yeah.
James, I honestly, I have been told that you are hilarious, and you have absolutely lived up to those expectations and descriptions.
I don't know how else to do it. My mother was like, if you'd ever met my mother, man, oh my God, she was freaking, what a card. She'd have you just busting a gut every time you were around her. But anyways, thank you.
But no, but genuinely, I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to hang with us. And it's been a pleasure, especially for me, because as everybody knows, I am a Dream Theater fanatic. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, listen, in the future, man, like in years to come, I think instead of having the big hello in the background, you should have your name, because it'll get to a point where I won't remember names.
That's all right. Just call me Hello.
I almost did. And then you should have Kitty. Hello, Kitty.